The Belko Experiment is about a bunch of office workers who are doing their normal thing on a normal day when a voice on an intercom says you gotta kill about 30 people or we're gonna kill about 60. Well, that's where the chaos ensues. I feel like this movie was a great idea, but they didn't execute it as well as I thought. After the movie, I thought I really enjoyed it, but thinking about it as a critical standpoint, I can't let some aspects get in my way of rating the movie. It is a fun, stupid movie to go see. It's a Gorefest. That's what this movie is. It's an hour and a half of killing people, and that's really what you want to pay for, so that's what you're going to get. Some good things about the movie. It's a Gorefest. It's a kind of a guilty pleasure, if you will. You could go take a bunch of friends and see it, and you'll have a fun time, but it's not anything award-winning, honestly. Another thing I enjoyed about this movie is that there were some scenes that were really intense and had me on the edge of my seat. There's a scene in specific, no spoilers here, but about the middle of the movie where basically they start killing people, kinda, and it's really intense. The way they do it builds tension, and it's a great scene, honestly. I like it. One of my cons of the movie is that for an office building with 120 people, the majority of the people that die are kind of, without spoiling anything, killed by guns. There's a lot of shooting people, and when they're really at each other's throats, they don't take liberty in using anything else besides these guns. And I thought that was really boring, and they could have pushed the boundaries a little more with finding different objects around an office building and using them to kill people. I thought that was a little bit of a drawback for me. The idea of the whole movie it's a good idea, but it just doesn't go to the next step to being a good movie or a great movie. It's really safe. It's really predictable, honestly. Another thing I had a problem with are the characters. Some of the characters are goofy. Some of them don't work. Some of them are just lame. One of my main problems with all the characters is that they have your protagonists and antagonists, and it's really cut down in the middle of who's on which side early in the film. And it stays that way the whole movie. Like, they're the bad guys, they'll stay the bad guys the entire movie. Or the good guys will stay the good guys. There's not a lot of twists and turns in this movie. I don't think, thinking about it, there's not one time where a good guy turns on another person just to survive. Or a bad guy turns on the rest of the bad guys to survive. Everybody states their motivations really early in the movie, and it stays that way throughout the entire movie. And I felt that was kind of meh. Another thing I don't like about this movie is that there's a character arc, without giving any spoilers, where they just waste so much time on this person. They stay alive the entire movie, and you think it's going to go somewhere, but it ends up, they just die, and it's really disappointing because it sets up an interesting fact. They announce this final part of the game, and you think, oh, that person they can survive or they can win this because of this that happened earlier. But nope, they just kind of go nowhere with it, and they die, and it's pretty much over after that. Also, the logic of this movie makes no sense to me. First of all, this company is set up in the middle of nowhere. One, you applied for that job, so me thinking in the middle of nowhere, that's a red herring. And then, without any spoilers, there's some things that you have to do to sign up for this job, to get the job. The company has to basically do something to you, where if any normal person applied for this job and they were like, oh, we have to do this thing to you, and I'd say no. I'd say fuck off. That's ridiculous. It's just dumb to me. I didn't see any logic behind that of why any person would want to do this. Another thing is, for some reason, they won't kill the main character in a lot of situations where they can just kill the main character. He survives because of the script. And I'm not spoiling anything here. I'm not going to say if he lives throughout the whole movie. I'm saying that throughout the movie, there are certain points in the movie where I'm sitting there going, he should be dead now. Or just kill him. Or, he can't survive this. There's an instance where they warn him, don't do this thing. And he goes ahead and does the thing. And they don't kill him. They just kind of shoot at him and warn him. But they could have easily just killed him. It made no sense to me. But the way they, without giving any spoilers, they could have done something else besides shoot a warning shot at him to kill him. He could have just been dead, pretty much. And then there's parts in the movie where the bad guys just won't kill him. They have guns and they're walking around, and he's literally being the only pain in the ass to the main bad guys, or the antagonists in the office. And they just won't kill him. It was like weird to watch. Something I didn't really like is that the first 2 acts of the movie were fine, but then the pacing is off. In the third act, it just needed to end. So it kind of just ends. They hurry it up, it's rushed, and it didn't feel natural. But besides the goofy acting, the main character not dying, the story arcs that go nowhere, it is just a fun gore fest, if you will. It's something to turn your mind off and watch, but I can't let that get in the way of my rating system, because I think about other movies I saw this year, like Beauty and the Beast, Logan, Kong. This wasn't as good as any of them, and I'm not really willing to give that a rating as good as these movies based on that, because it's not a very memorable movie. I don't think a year from now I'll look at my ticket stub and be like, oh yeah, that's right, I did see the Belko Experiment. It's a fun movie, but it's not a great movie. It's okay. I think it's a little above average just because of how intense some of the scenes were. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. But I would wait until a DVD or Netflix drop and just get everybody over the house. And it's a fun movie to watch with a bunch of people. But other than that, I would save your money for other movies coming out. But yeah, that's my review for the Belko Experiment. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys next time. There goes a sight from my soul.